order in a little quicker than usual. But obviously that is a risk, so kind of depends what stage you're at, how comfortable you are with taking a risk on a couple grand worth of product.
Yeah, and if you guys are looking to place a bulk order, even if it's not like, it doesn't have to be huge. Like we just placed a bulk order for 100 units of product on one store. Scotty, they can hit us up about that, right? We can hook them up with. Are they taking on people right now?
You can try. It's if you're doing like 1 or 2 orders a day, they're probably not going to be interested right now.
Yeah, I would say probably like once you start getting like 5 to 10 plus orders a day consistently, that's when it starts making more sense. Cool. All right, so Scotty, why don't you explain how we're going to do this call? Because basically, up to this point, we haven't really had more than like, I don't know, like 10 or 15 people on a call. And now we got a lot more, which we're super stoked about. But the way that we've been doing it, if you guys were on the call last week, it was like a 2.5, almost 3 hour call. So we're going to try to get through a little bit quicker and a little bit more organized. Scotty, you want to explain how we're going to do that?
Yeah, so like you saw, we're going to take the questions from Slack first. So all the questions that are posted in Slack, we're going to go through them, talk about it, discuss, maybe follow up with the specific person that asked it. Cover all that first, then we'll be taking questions sort of via either like raising the hand or just putting it in the chat if you have a question. And then at the end, we're going to do like any remaining questions, anything you guys want to talk about, any follow-up questions. You'll still have a chance then to ask those. So we're going to make sure everyone still gets all the questions answered, but basically instead of starting in the top right corner or top left corner of my screen and going through everyone, and the last person would have to wait 2 hours, we're just going to make sure that everyone gets their main questions answered first, and then we can still go through everyone later down the line.
Cool. Well, let's do it. So first question was from Trevin. How do you go about testing new ad creatives? Do you throw them straight into the normal campaigns you were already running? Do you create a test campaign for creatives? Actually, here, I'm going to put the questions in the chat so that y'all can all see these. I think that might be a good idea. So how do you go about testing ad creatives? I guess the end of that question, do you create a test campaign for creatives and only utilize them in your normal campaigns after they have shown they work? Scotty, I'll let you say how you do things. How I do things is basically, I don't really think about it in terms of like campaigns. I don't think of like my ad creatives in terms of I don't think of my campaigns in terms of like which ad creatives I have in them. I kind of do it by the ad set, if that makes sense. So when I'm testing a new creative, what I'll do is I'll take, you know, an existing ad set or multiple existing ad sets that are doing well. I'll duplicate them, and then I'll keep the existing ad that was already in there, or the existing ads that were already in there, and then I will just add the new ad creative into that ad set. And usually I'll keep the original ad set that I duplicated it from running, and then just use the new ad set to test the new creative, and then say if you have, you know, if you're doing this on kind of a rolling basis, and say you have an ad set that has 2 creatives in it, and you've been testing those 2 creatives against each other, and one of them has shown to be better than the other, then when I duplicate it, I'll take out the loser creative, and then I'll test my new one with the, you know, the winner of those 2, if that makes sense.
The way I test creatives is, like Nate said, in a new ad set for sure. So you can put it in a new campaign, you don't have to. Basically, kind of depends too if you're running CBO or not. If you're running CBO, then I put it in a new campaign. If you're running CBO, I put it in a new campaign with only your best audiences and test it in there. If you're running ABO, then you can do it in the same campaign or a different one. Testing creatives, sometimes I put 2 ads in an ad set and let Facebook try and see which one's better, and then I kind of rely on Facebook to make that decision. Other times I say, I set the ad set budgets, usually 20 or 25 bucks a day for ad testing, and then I'll only put 1 ad in each ad set. So I'm telling Facebook, I want you to spend 25 bucks on this ad, no matter how good or bad your algorithm thinks the ad is. That's kind of the 2 ways you can do it. Either give Facebook more control by putting 2 ads in one ad set, letting them decide where to spend the money, or just put 1 ad per ad set and have the same spend on both of them.
Cool. I'm gonna unmute Trevin and make sure that we answer this question. Trevin, do you feel that that question was answered?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that question was answered. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, I'm putting the mute back on. How do I can't even find it.
I'll just mute myself.
No, I want to do it. Okay, I got it. All right, cool. Oh, Trevin had another question. If lookalikes made from custom audiences are not dynamic, how do you go about updating them, and how frequently do you do that? Scotty, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, I was going to check with our boy Sunny there, with our Facebook ads expert, to make sure I'm not saying anything wrong. I've seen this claim made a few times that LLAs made from custom audiences don't update. I
think they do. I thought that if you make them from a custom audience, like from website activity from the last 30 days, like say you make a custom audience for add to cart for the last 30 days, I don't think it's just for the 30 days since you made it. I'm fairly certain that it is the most recent 30 days from whatever date it is.
I believe so. I was going to check with Sunny on that technically. If you create a custom audience, so there's 2 types of custom audience. You can create the custom audience from your pixel and then make an LLA from that. And my understanding is that those do update because, I mean, just logically speaking, I, for one, have never made a new custom audience to make a new LLA so that it updates. On the other hand, you've got custom audiences that are from an export. So if you export your customers into a file, a CSV file, then upload that, then that one obviously isn't going to update because that's like a static audience base. Kind of the interesting question there would be, does that lookalike adjust over time? Because the people that look most like the source audience today might not be the same people that look most like the source audience in 6 months. That, again, I'm not entirely sure about. But practically speaking, if you create a lookalike from the pixel, no need to update it. That's at least the way I run it. I don't want to I'm not going to say I'm 100% sure whether they're like dynamic or not dynamic or whatever, but I don't update them. Like, I'll create the audience once, 180 day purchase, 30 day purchase, whatever. Create the lookalikes from that. If you're doing customer export from Shopify, which is something you should do, like if you've got a bunch of purchases and you want to test purchase lookalikes, do it with the pixel and also do it with a customer export. Obviously, that one you'll have to update over time, because if you do it once today, then in 6 months you'll have a bunch of new purchasers that aren't on that list yet. So that one you have to update and then just recreate it. How frequently do you do that? I mean, not that frequently. I don't use them all that much. So it's pretty rare, honestly. If the audience is working, the audience is working. That's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, so that answers my question, so thank you. And just as like a frame of reference of where that question came from, it was when I was reading that Ads Alchemist thing. Unless I misunderstood, it sounded like to me that custom audiences were dynamic, but the lookalike audiences created off the custom audience, I think he said, were not dynamic. So that's just kind of where I even got that question from in the first place. But that answers my question that you guys said we don't really update them anyway, and if they're running well, they're running well.
Yeah, I think that's probably a question for his Discord chat, honestly. Specifically how he does that. I mean, he's an expert on Facebook ads to a level that I am not. So I would definitely ask him that if you're interested.
Okay.
I know practically I don't make new custom audiences to make new LLAs every 3 to 6 months. Yeah. Maybe I should.
Okay. Well, that answers my question at least. Thank you.
You got it. And then Matthew Kelly had a little follow-up to that. How many purchases would you need for the customer purchase export lookalike? So the bare minimum you need is 100. You need 100 of whatever event you're trying to get, in this case, purchase. You need at least 100 purchases in the same country. The thing with that is when you're doing the customer export, the way that Facebook matches it up is through the email, and all the rest of their information, email, phone number. I think really the only ones that I usually map are email and phone number. In a lot of cases, they're not going to have the same, the email that they use to buy from your store is not going to be the same as they have on their Facebook account. So it might not actually get them. So just because you have 100 purchases, that's probably still not enough, at least when you're doing it from your, Shopify and you're exporting it and doing it that way. I would say it kind of depends, but probably 200, 300. Once you get past 150 or so, I would just try it. And if you don't have enough, then Facebook won't even let you make it. And then I would just kind of continuously just keep trying it as you get more purchases until you eventually have enough.
Also, Matt Kelly, for you specifically, I don't think this is necessarily something you'd have to test right now. I would just do it off your pixel. It also makes it easier. You create the 180-day purchase audience, like the custom audience once. And if you go in to create the lookalike and Facebook gives you an error, then you try again in a week or two, Whereas with the customer export, you have to export it from Shopify, get the email, download the file, upload to Facebook. And if then the LLA fails, you have to do the whole thing again next time. Cool. Posted that next little question. I think we actually answered that before, sort of in the prelim. Recommendation for getting around Ali standard shipping times. ePacket. I mean, if it's actually going to be 8 weeks, then ePacket's going to be 3 weeks quicker. Definitely have to have some sort of notice on the site about delayed shipping. Luckily, right now, I found at least customers are pretty understanding of shipping delays because everyone's affected in the world. Unlike when in January, when we had shipping delays, but nobody else knew about this COVID shit, people were not as understanding. Right now, it's kind of what are you going to do? Everyone's shut down. Obviously, there's no delays.
Yeah. Is Kwame on here?
Yeah,
yep.
I'm on. I'm on. Can you hear me?
Kwame, you're cutting out quite a bit.
Yeah, hold on. I'm driving right now. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm driving right now, so I don't have my picture, and I might be cutting out a little bit. But I thank you for answering that. Just to follow up, my vendors have said that ePacket through them is slower than their AliExpress standard. They still recommend AliExpress standard. They say that's a little bit quicker than their ePacket because they said that the ePacket goes behind when it comes to loading on the planes and the logistics. It goes behind the AliExpress standard, according from what the vendor.
That's definitely how things have been so far. But then I don't see why suddenly it would say 8 weeks. That seems a weird estimate. Because the actual times that we've been seeing are nowhere close to 8 weeks. They're
You also got to take what any AliExpress supplier says with 18,000 grains of salt.
Yeah, all the salt.
They tend not to be. One, I feel like they're just, a lot of times they will just lie to you because they're going to tell you what you want to hear. And two, I also feel like sometimes they might not even know they're lying to you. They just don't know all that much and they don't really care.
That makes perfect sense. I'm just waiting on some shipments from some of these vendors from beginning of March.
Wow. What shipping method did you use? You use Ali Standard?
Some of them are ordered through with ePacket. Some of them are ordered with AliExpress standard shipping.
Gotcha.
And when did they ship? That's the thing to look at. Because shipping times are at the moment they're delayed, obviously.
4 to 5 days. They shipped about 4 to 5 days after I placed the order.
That's not ideal. That's the one that you really got to watch out for, the processing time, because processing time sounds like something's happening. Nothing is happening. They're just waiting to ship your order because they maybe only ship 1 day a week or whatever. But still, that doesn't make up for a couple extra weeks. Matt Kelly says, if you looked at eBay, is that perhaps an option for your product?
No, I have not looked at eBay yet.
Definitely do that.
Definitely do that. Like all y'all. If your shipping times are super long, check eBay. Check eBay. It's not ideal in terms of like fulfilling through there. It's much more time consuming. But if it can get your product to your customer in 2 weeks instead of 8, then definitely worth it. All right. Next question. How do I go from making 10,000 to 100 million per month with this store and product I have, and what's missing? Okay. Oh wow, you already put it in there. Is that $10? Like I'm confused with the numbers there. Is that 10,000 and 100 million, or is that 10,000 and 100,000? I don't even know. I guess it's
Numbers are confusing, right?
It's the lack of commas. The lack of commas in the numbers is throwing me off.
Basically, how do you 100x your store, or 1,000x your store? This is a good question. So basically, you do a lot of things for a long time, right? Obviously, I haven't quite done the 100 mil a month yet, so maybe I'm talking without the experience. But what I'd sort of like to give to you, or to all of you, is stop trying to go from 10K a month to 100K a month within 1 month. Like that is possible, but if it's possible, if you can scale a store 10x in a month, then that's only because you were nowhere near your potential the month before. What you want to do is like scale your store 10x or triple it year over year. Like just take a longer term approach. You have to build a really solid business. You have to get logistics handled. You have to improve product packaging, branding, get better content, get influencers on board. Just do a bunch of stuff right, and that's how you grow your business massively. There's nothing you can do on Facebook with your interests or whatever to get that kind of growth. To do that, you just got to get the marketing right. You got to get everything right. And if you do everything right over a long period of time, then you're going to see slow and steady growth that turns into pretty big growth. It's like if you grow 15% a month, which is nothing. Like people are trying to grow 15% a day in ecom, but if you grow just 15% a month, you end up doubling your business every year. Now, if you do that for 10 years, you have a very big business. So I would say the way you scale up massively is by keep doing the little things right, keep making your ad copies, keep testing, keep making new content, new creatives, but also just take a longer term approach of not how do I try and scale this up super quickly right now, but what steps can I take to have a bigger business and a more successful business in 6 months.
I agree with that. I think Jason Taken is just a fantastic example of someone who's done that. He's been in the program for about a year now. And he was running the store that the main store he's running now. He was running that when he joined the program. And I'm not sure exactly the kind of numbers he was doing. I know it wasn't big. But I know a lot of y'all have seen what he's been posting in Slack, and he's doing amazing. He's doing like 10K a day, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue. And I think that's exactly what he did. He really dialed in what he was doing, not just with the marketing, but with everything, with customer service, with product fulfillment, with just the entire experience. And I think like if you continue to do that, and then also more tactically in the short term, I guess, you focus on increasing your average order value. You focus on increasing your conversion rate. You focus on these kind of big levers that have a big effect on your overall results. And I think that's really how you do it. It's not going to happen overnight, but what tends to happen is you kind of just have a breakthrough, and you'll go from one level to the next level, and then you'll sit there for a little bit, and then you'll find a new breakthrough, and then you'll go to the next level, and then you'll sit there for a little bit, find the next breakthrough. And that's kind of how that works. And I think it's just a matter of continuing to test new stuff and just always keeping in mind that you need to be improving everything you're doing, not just getting better results with your Facebook ads. And if you do that, and then you continue to scale your ad spend and, test new things and all the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, then it's just kind of a result of doing the right things consistently over a long period of time.
It's also like if you start running stuff for 6 months, 12 months or whatever, you'd be amazed. Like you're able to achieve levels of scale that with the same ads you wouldn't have been able to do at the start. Like I have ads right now that I'm running like $500 a day or whatever. Like when I launched the store, like $50 a day, these same ads would not have worked. So it's just like as you get more data, as people start to know your brand, it's like imagine if Amazon starts running Facebook ads. They're going to get killer results because everyone knows Amazon, everyone trusts Amazon. You can be like a mini version of that in your niche as well, where people start to know you, people have heard of you before, where none of your ads are truly cold anymore. Like if you're in a niche and you're big enough and you're in that market long enough, very few of your ads are going to be like 100% cold. Everyone's going to have seen you before, going to have heard you before, seen influencers talk about you. And once you get to that stage, it just stuff works that previously doesn't work, and you get to like a new normal. Like you have a bad month, you're still doing 10K a month. You have a good month, you're at the next level. Like right now, like 10K might be your best month. In 6 months, that might be a horrible month, but a horrible month isn't going to go to zero. It's still going to be like a 10K. It's just kind of the way it goes. I'm not entirely sure why, if it's data or like whatever, but just you get like a higher normal. So like a good month is 30K, bad month is 10K. Then 2 years later, a good month is 100K, bad month is 60K. You just get like higher levels of what's normal for you.
Yeah, and one thing I would caution you guys against is you don't need any other traffic source than Facebook ads to get to 100K a month revenue. Absolutely do not need anything else other than Facebook ads. Now, is that to say that you shouldn't test other traffic sources and you shouldn't use other traffic sources? No, but you don't need them. It's not like there's not enough money or there's not enough customers on Facebook, so you need to go and get customers elsewhere. There's plenty of customers on Facebook, unless you're selling something ridiculously niche, which I don't think any of you are, because you should be basing your stuff off of what we have in the program in the B.O.S.S library, and none of that stuff is like incredibly specific. So I would say that, and then Nick followed up with, won't just increasing your ad spend give you more money, LOL? So say you're spending like 10K on ads now, and suddenly now you have 100K to spend on ads, will you get much more sales? No, that's unfortunately not how that works. That'll be beautiful if that is how that works. But the way scaling works is the more you spend, generally the lower your return, i.e. your ROAS, is going to be. So if you're spending 10K a month on ads and you're at like an average of say 2.5 ROAS, if you scale that to 100K a month on ads, it's probably going to go down to like a 1 or a 1.5. That's just a huge jump. And I don't really know exactly why that is. It's just the way that Facebook works. You can't just go from, spending whatever you are spending now to spending 10 times more and expect it to work the exact same, because that's just never going to happen. I've never seen that happen. I've tried it before and it's never worked. So yeah, I think you just got to do it gradually and follow kind of all the things that me and Scotty were just talking about. And just be patient. Like, be patient. It's not going to happen overnight, but if you're consistent with it and you put all of your time and effort into it, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
One other thing, like quick note before we go to the next question, focus on scaling up your profits, not your revenue. Because what can happen is that your store, say you have like a really good week, you're spending 200 a day, 250, then 300, then 350. You keep increasing the budget every like 2 or 3 days. You're going to get to a point where the revenue either like flatlines and you increase the budget and the revenue doesn't go up, or even the revenue goes down when you have a bad day. We want to focus on is what is the daily profit. If you can spend $200 a day and make on average $100 in profit, that is better than spending $300 a day and making $80 in profit, even if the revenue on the second number is higher. So I kind of caution you against like trying to scale up for bigger revenue numbers. Yes, you got to try that, but if you notice it's not working and you had higher profits at lower spend, stay to lower spend for a bit. Like sit at $200 a day and spend for a month, and then try increasing again. Like try and scale your ad budgets month to month. It's like this month you spend 10K on ads, try and spend 12K next month. Don't try and increase your budget 20% every week. Try and increase it 20% every month. If you can do that and get more consistent results, it's generally going to be better.
I would say one caveat to that is if you're kind of just starting, you can scale a little bit faster than that.
Yeah, for sure. It's generally like there's those set like points where you kind of get stuck and you just have to be a bit patient. Probably like between 200 and 400 bucks a day in spends. Generally, I find like there's a point where you kind of get stuck where scaling up increases the revenue but decreases the profit. So you just want to sit there for a bit, test creatives.
It creates a shit ton of more customer service to deal with.
Yeah, just sit there for a bit, let some profit accumulate, keep testing new ads, and then scale up again.
Rody, does that answer your question, kind of?
Yeah, I think. Well, I didn't say like I want to increase that from 10K to 100 like in a month. It was just like a general question: how do you go from one level to another?
Right.
And more of that, it was if like a product has a limit of how much can you get from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought that. So quick story. With my first successful store, I thought that like there was a limit. Like there was a limit, and I was doing about 30K a month in revenue, and I pretty much thought that that was like the limit of how much of that product I could sell. Like that's how big the market was. I couldn't really scale past that. And that's what I thought, and that's how I operated for months. And it wasn't terrible. I was making whatever, like 10K a month profit. It was great. I just didn't think it was possible. And then Black Friday came around, and I just basically said, fuck it, I'm going to try to spend as much as I possibly can. And it worked really well. And then we went on to do, went from like 30K a month to like 60K a month. And then over like, that November and December did like 300K a month, 400K a month, almost 500K a month. And it can happen very quickly. And you think that there's a cap, and it's probably like 10 times higher than you think it is right now.
Okay.
Especially with your product. Like that is a big market.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's kind of, yeah. What?
But again, like you saw insane results right off the bat. You're not going to see the same sort of return on ad spend if you scale up to 1K a day. So there's going to be like that point where you get diminishing returns. We're spending 50 bucks, 100 bucks a day. You're going to get more profit than if you spend 500 bucks a day at the moment. But then in a couple of months, you'll be able to slowly increase that over time, get better content, get better creatives, etc. And you'll be able to spend more and still have really good results.
Okay. So you say, because I tried to scale now, like some of my ad sets, and it didn't work. So you say if I try to do that in a month, it may work then? Like, is that possible?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not just possible, not just because if you just wait a month and then maybe it'll work just because you waited a month. I think the main reason that tends to work is because over that month, you've improved things and things are performing better than they were before. You have better ad creatives, your product page is better, you have a higher conversion rate. If you have better results, then the likelihood that things work when you scale are much higher.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go to the next question. At what point should you incorporate? Nick says. My take on this, so the way I did it is basically like, I didn't incorporate until I'd probably done about 10K in profit, or maybe 10K in revenue. It's not really like consequential, which, the distinction. I would say once you have money coming in consistently, you have something that's working, and you're at the point where you're like, okay, this is like a serious thing. This is actually bringing me money. This is something I'm actually going to, dedicate time to, and it's going to be, a significant part of my life. Then incorporate. You don't have to do it right off the bat. Some things are going to be easier if you do have an LLC, like things with merchant processing and, Shopify payments and Stripe and PayPal and all that stuff. But it's not necessary to get started. So I would say 10K revenue. That's my easy benchmark.
We got a long question.
Nick, how's that answer for you?
Hey, that's not my question, even though my name is Nick, but you know.
Oh, that's not your question.
That's
Oh,
another thing.
oh
Thank
my
you.
God. I'm so embarrassed right now.
Next one's Nick too. Is the next question yours? You've muted him.
Yes, probably.
Was that Nicolaus? No. We have a lot of Nicks in here. All right, well, yeah, let's go to the next one. It's good. All right, cool. Okay, so okay. I'm reading this question right now.
So just to like,
Gotcha.
before we get too deep into this question, you say one can just use that pre-built formula and have success without too much effort. No, we most certainly do not say that. Like,
yeah, we
what we
don't
do is
say that anywhere in our marketing, do we? We better fucking not.
Yeah, no, you can have success with a formula, but it's going to be a hell of a lot of effort. Otherwise, I mean, like, I get up every day and I work pretty much all day, as does Nate and as do a lot of people on this call right now. The formulas work, but it's going to be effort. That's kind of the answer to your question. Like, it works, but it's definitely going to be effort. It's going to be a lot of effort, and it's going to be based on your creativity. So, like, everyone on this call could start selling the same product tomorrow, and a bunch of you would have the same ads and none of it would work. And Nate, maybe Shin, and maybe Nico would have a creative new way of selling it, and they'd have much higher chance of success. So basically, it's how you execute it. So it's which angles you take, which angles you come up with yourself, how you make the content, how you make the ads, how you make the copy, how you set up the store, all this, which is not given to you. Like, that's kind of why we don't do the whole pre-built store thing. Because if we give you the store and we say, hey, just run ads, it's not going to work unless we built an absolutely fucking brilliant store. And even then, often it doesn't work. So the answer to your question really is, it works because it's not with no effort. It's with a lot of effort. And that's the only way it really works.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is the builds are like the foundation that you start with, and that's huge. Obviously, you can't build a house without a foundation. I think it's extremely valuable to have a foundation to start with. But at the same time, if you don't do anything with a foundation, then it's just going to stay a foundation. It's, your success in e-commerce is dependent on what you're able to do, and it's not just about, taking a build and just running it as is. Builds are meant to be used as a foundation, as inspiration, for you to develop your own unique ideas, your own unique marketing angles, your own unique creatives, and stuff that is actually good. And that's why we combine it with the B.O.S.S School of Business, and we do these calls and we do, coaching, and we try to kind of impart on you the way that we think about things and kind of teach you the things that, basically the skills that you need to do this. Obviously, the build is great, but the build does not give you all the skills that you need to be able to do this. And really, the only way to get these skills is by doing it. It's by doing it over and over again and practicing and trying and failing and spending money on ads and losing money and seeing what works and what doesn't. The chances that you just take a build as is and start running it without doing anything unique, without doing anything different, or doing literally anything on your own, the chances of that working are very low, because it's not about just the build. It's about you taking that and turning it into something great.
Hey, you guys see me?
What up, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought, the build was like something very specific already. You have the product, the niche, you have even the angle, the targeting, the ad, even the copy of the product. So I don't know, what more, creative about that you could be.
Nick, have you seen any builds yet?
No, I mean, like, that's funny. That's just like my my concern when I read the sales page, and I was thinking,
I think once you see the builds, it'll make a lot more sense to you. And yeah.
Because you said like the most important thing.
Semester 2, and how you kind of take the build and use it and implement it. I think it'll make a lot more sense.
I just thought like, I took from you that, the most important thing would be, the angle, like the audience that you're talking to, and trying to find the angle that can evoke their emotion, their feelings, their pains and whatnot. And I thought, if you gave us like all of those already, then the most important thing is there already, then other things are just add-ons, and it won't give you like a huge difference. That's what I just, thought. Maybe it's wrong, or you can explain to me.
I think I know what you're saying. I think the way I look at it is, it's like, taking the angles, for example, you're going to have specific angles in each build, that we think are the angles that, can work with this. But at the same time, the angles are not entire sales machines. They are the seed, basically. The seed that, you take the seed and then you plant the seed and you develop it into, a really compelling idea throughout all of your marketing, throughout your ad creatives, your, video ads, your picture ads, your product description. It's up to you to kind of take that and grow it, per se. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, like, I just want to confirm that, you have to put your twist on it, and, you still have to put your creativity and have your growth mindset, and, try to make it your own over time.
Absolutely. I mean, if like anyone that's telling you that they can just give you a pre-built store and it's immediately going to start making sales, like, they're lying to you. That's just not how that works. Like, if that
to be honest, that's what I thought. and I didn't believe in that, but I believed in what you're trying to teach, and so that's what I signed up for.
Yeah, man, I think you're really going to enjoy it. I think once you see the way that we structure it, it'll clear a lot of things up, especially once you see semester 2 and you get access to the build library. I think it'll make a lot more sense to you. And it's not just something that, like, you just set up once and then it immediately is just raining money. It's something that, like Scotty said, we all are working on our businesses every single day. It's not just a one-time thing. You set it up and then it starts making money. It's like, no, it's like a plant, right? You have to plant the seed, and then you got to water it, and you got to take care of it. You got to make sure it gets sunlight, and you got to continue working on it, consistently over a period of months and years. And then that's when it really turns into something that's, like, borderline life-changing, or even like not even borderline. It could be extremely life-changing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thanks.
Cool. Well, welcome to the program, Nick.
Thank you.
Next few questions are from Yaya. I've already posted them.
What is the recommended method to add PLR into offer? So, for reference, PLR stands for private label rights, which is basically going to be an info product. We talked about this on the last call. There's a website called exclusiveniches.com, and I'm sure there's other ones as well, where basically you can buy the license to an info product, to an ebook or a course or something. They have so many different topics, and you basically can kind of use that to bolster your offer, make your offer more compelling by including, okay, so you're selling this product, but then it also comes with this free ebook on, XYZ. So that's what PLR is. Would we put a banner in the product description to make it look professional? Would it still look okay with quantity breaks and Hurify countdown timer? I don't put it as a banner. What I do is I included like an image of it in the first picture on the product page, and then also have the name of the product be XYZ product plus free ebook. And then, yeah, that's basically how I do it. And then the way I've actually set it up on the store that I'm running like a PLR on right now is I literally just went into the Shopify settings and changed the Shopify confirmation or order confirmation email. Instead of going to like view your order, I changed the text to download your free ebook, and then just put the link there. So everyone who makes a purchase, they get that email and they can download it there. So that's kind of how I set it up. Would it still look okay with quantity breaks and Hurify countdown timer? I don't think it doesn't really mess with quantity breaks or Hurify at all.
Our next question from Yaya as well. Is he on this call?
Yeah, I'm here.
There you are. With the nice exotic background.
Yeah, breaking the curfew. For the first question, do we include it also in the ad copy, in the Facebook ad copy?
I don't usually. I think you can if it's a big part of the offer. It really depends on the situation. I feel like in some situations, the PLR could be like the main draw. Like that could be the main reason that someone wants to buy your offer. In that case, yeah, maybe you mention it in the ad copy. Personally, I haven't done that yet, but I'm not against it necessarily.
Cool.
For your other question about account bans, so your ad account got banned, it gets reactivated, and then performance is shit. That happens, not always. It's sometimes you get an ad account, gets reactivated the middle of the day, and you're kind of panicking, like Facebook's going to burn through all the budget in half the day, like what's going to happen? And sales just start popping off like crazy. That happens. Other times it's just poor afterwards for a while. I know we've got another student in the program, Kyle. He's really struggled with that. Account bans, it's going great. Account ban, he gets it back, and then quality's like just not converting. So your question is, does that mean Facebook's giving you lower quality traffic after the ban? Yes, I mean, I would say that's pretty much what it is. Also depends like how long you're running it. Like if you just get like one good day and then it gets banned, then it gets reactivated and performance isn't as good. It might be because you were running an ad that technically goes against some rule and then you got banned. And so like the thing about ads that go against rules are they're often very effective. Like if you were allowed to run these, they would be very effective. But Facebook doesn't like them, so Facebook bans them. So if you're using an ad that's against policy and it was going great, and then you can't use that ad anymore, then that could be one reason for worse performance. And otherwise, I think it's kind of just like a mix of fluctuation in performance and also just Facebook giving you lower quality traffic.
I have a theory too that when that happens, that is to say that you're like this is the situation, all your ads get rejected, you submit them for review, they get reapproved, but then your ad account gets banned right after your ads get reapproved. That's happened to me multiple times. So then you appeal that, you get the ad account back, you run the ads again, and then they don't perform as well. What I think, and this is maybe a conspiracy theory, I have no proof of this at all, but I feel like there are situations where Facebook like will allow you to run stuff that they don't like, but they're going to throttle it and they're going to make your CPMs higher, and it's just not going to perform as well because they're just, I think maybe trying to punish you. Again, I don't know if that actually happens. I think it does, but it's hard to say.
Then for what to do in that situation, so first of all, if your ad account gets reinstated and it's later in the day, definitely keep an eye on spend. And if it doesn't perform well right off the bat, I usually turn ads off and schedule for midnight again. Because especially if it's later in the day, you don't want it spending all the budget in a couple hours. As for what to do longer term, it's basically just back to what we always do. We make good ads, we test them with our best audiences, and we try to get it working. I think you can also
make a new ad account and try running things on a new ad account.
Yeah, that's something you can try. I would do that if it doesn't work, like if you have poor results for a while. I think you're quite new to running ads, is that correct?
I've run them before for a while. With the new website, it is new.
Gotcha. So this new campaign is new. I would just keep testing as if the ban never happened and just look at the results you're getting right now. So if it's not working, pause the ad sets and relaunch with different ads, different images, different videos, different copy.
But what I usually do when they reject an ad, I delete it, and when they ban the account, I directly apologize and beg for forgiveness, because I learned that if you argue with them, then they might just permanently ban you. So I usually don't argue. Just sorry, and I delete the ad that got rejected. The ads that dipped were not actually rejected. It was a new ad that I was trying to test, and that got rejected. I deleted that, but the old ads plummeted.
Gotcha. I don't think you necessarily need to delete ads. I think if you just turn them off and don't use them again, that's fine. It kind of varies. Some like Facebook experts have said, oh, you got to delete ads if they're disapproved, because then people don't see and it doesn't affect your account the same way. Others are like, oh, if you delete ads that are disapproved, that's suspicious. It's like suspicious activity. You're trying to like cheat the algorithm. So I don't personally delete them. But yeah, if you get a ban, you just request a review and usually get it overturned, assuming you're actually following the policy. Do I dupe the campaign? Like I said, normally I just resume as is and look how the results are. If the results are poor, then you shut it off and you relaunch with different ads. Does that answer all of your long list of questions?
Yeah, it's just the last part. Do we dupe the campaign again to start it, or we just keep it as it is?
If performance is poor, then I would pause the campaign and make a new campaign. So you can dupe it and change the ads, but don't dupe the same ad that was doing badly just to relaunch. If you're going to relaunch with different ads or change something. Try and figure out what else you can try.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So yes, hope that the algorithm sends you better traffic, but also change your marketing. There's parts that we can control and there's parts we can't control. We can control the ads we make, so we try to make better ads. The algorithm is mostly out of our control, so we try to control what we can control.
Gotcha. Cool.
All right. Nico, are you putting that in, Scotty?
I am. Nico has angry customers.
Angry customers? I've never had an angry customer before.
So
That's
Nico,
good.
Really?
First question is, what are they complaining about? Shipping times
delays.
or lack of tracking number, or what is it?
No, delays. Lots of them are asking about because 17 track is not tracking correctly. So I answer back with a link for parcels apps that works better or works in most cases. And then it's like I have an orders that been around since March and still haven't been not even departed the country of origin. So it's like I know for a fact that it's going to take like 15 more days to deliver, and that will take the shipping time to 45, 50, 60 days. I'm handling most of them with this like coronavirus excuse, or making a partial refund, or offering a case for the glasses as a gift, or reshipping the order for free with another carrier. And if I selected the packet, the second time I do AliExpress standard or Singapore Post or China Post, I don't know, whatever. Always try to have the tracking inside. Sometimes there's no chance because the only option with tracking is, I don't know, DHL, which costs like double the price people are paying to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's like I'm receiving 5 to 10 emails a day asking where my order is, what happened. I've been waiting for too long. I expected this to arrive earlier. A lot of times I'm like working with a time frame, so it's before the 15 days or 20 days passed. I just refer to my fax page, which says that takes from 7 to 25 business days to deliver. But sometimes it's like, I don't know, they start like asking for the refund, and I know this will happen, but I'm doing like 10, 15 orders a day. I don't know if there should be that much complaints about this.
That is weird. Like, these emails are normal, but not in the quantity you're getting them. Things I would look at: how quickly is your supplier processing? That would be one thing I'm looking at. Like, when are they actually shipping it out? And in your situation, like you posted that screenshot of like 10K rev this month. I would push pretty hard to get an agent like ASAP.
Okay.
Because like you can leverage the 10K rev. Like you're somewhat established. You can be like, yo, I'm already doing numbers. I just need to get access to Unexpress, and I need you to ship these. Your product's fairly common. They shouldn't have any problem sourcing it. They probably already have a connection to sell, or they probably know at least a factory that sells them. So I think you are probably in a better situation than most in terms of getting an agent.
How does the prices change from sourcing AliExpress to sourcing agents? Like, I'm taking $10 per product as a standard. I know I spend a little bit less, like $8.50, $7, $9 sometimes. Rarely goes top 11. But how or what should I expect my price go to for each piece?
I'd say usually it's about the same, maybe a little cheaper.
But that would be by bulk, right? Or not necessarily?
Kind of. Yeah, like in bulk, but not like a huge bulk order. So like if you're working with an agent, they're in China, so like the delivery time to them is going to be like 3 to 5 days usually.
Right.
You can order like 2 weeks worth of inventory at a time. So for you, I guess that would be like 200 pieces. You can order 200 pieces of product and do that every 1 or 2 weeks. Which of course, if you're going to do it from the US, which would be even better, customer gets even quicker or even more reliable, then you're going to have to order like at least a month, ideally 2 months or more worth of product, which for you is going to be suddenly a lot more. So with an agent, yes, you have to hold inventory, but it can be a small amount of inventory. And the difference between... Go on.
Yeah, please. No, finish, please.
So pricing is basically going to be whatever your agent can source the product for, he's going to charge you that. So if he goes to the factory and says he needs 100 pieces of this, they give him a price, he gives that price to you. The way the agent makes money is he charges you generally like $1 to ship it. So whatever the factory charges him, he charges you. Whatever Unexpress charges him, he charges you. And then on top of that, there's $1. $1 flat fee per order. That's his, the price for his service. So Unexpress.
And what about the shipping times?
So as of right now, with Unexpress, which is what your agent's going to use probably, shipping times to the US, you can expect to be probably like 25 to 35 days realistically.
Okay.
Honestly, like I saw some like 1 or 2 weeks ago delivered in 16, 17 days. But what they're going to tell you is like probably like definitely 20 to 30 days.
Okay.
Normally a lot quicker.
And is there like a middle point between Chinese agent and delivering from the US?
How like what percentage of your orders are from the US?
No, not that much. I have it a lot. No, I would say like less than 10%.
Yeah, then in that case, I don't think it really makes a whole lot of sense to fulfill from the US, because that's really the main benefit of fulfilling from the US. Fulfilling worldwide from the US is much more expensive than fulfilling worldwide from China. So if most of your orders are not in the US, then I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to place a bulk order and get a warehouse in the US.
Yeah, in terms of that middle way, like the agent in China is the middle way. That's the middle way between Ali, where you're kind of hoping the supplier stays up and doesn't disappear. That is the middle way where you have faster processing times. They ship every day, and you've got somebody who can hopefully speak good English that is there to help you with any issues.
Okay.
Kind of to circle back to your previous question about the 5 to 10 daily emails. I wasn't thinking about you selling mostly to non-USA. Try to figure out which countries are causing problems and exclude those countries.
Yeah, and look at the tracking info, and like a lot of countries, there'll be issues with customs, and it'll just get stuck at customs, or random shit will happen. And try to see if you can find patterns in which countries are causing the most problems, and then yeah, exactly, exclude them from your ads.
I mean, that's why right now, if you aren't selling internationally yet, just doing USA only and it's working, I would stick to that. Don't try to expand to worldwide right now if you don't have to. Now, if Nico, like you expanded worldwide and got better results because of it, so you just kind of got to deal with it, but try to exclude those countries that are really bad. You might find that there's some countries that are really bad right now that are normally great countries. Like I'm in Switzerland, shipping to Switzerland right now is fucked. Like normally Switzerland's a great country to sell to, but right now it just isn't.
Yeah, I know. I made the exclusion of those countries you shared, and that was when like the store really started growing. So that was a very little code. So simple, so stupid.
One simple trick.
Yeah, and I'm looking a lot to these patterns that may arise, but the thing is, I'm having most of them are orders that haven't actually left China.
Yeah.
So it's like a month and the package is still sitting there. I try to explain the pandemic, the air traffic, like different reasons to every customer, because not all of them are having the same approach to their claim. So in some cases, they tell me, I know that this should be about coronavirus. So I tell them, yeah, of course. But I don't know, I was just trying to solve like this from a more like a root solution. And
honestly, I think sometimes you should probably offer like a partial refund or something that can help. Also, just like the main thing in customer service is always, and this is actually something Nate told me a while back, and it's been working great. It's that tell the customer that yes, we're having delays, but don't worry, your product will arrive. Like this is not a scam. This website's legit. We have sent you product, and your product will arrive.
That's the number one reason that people email you.
I'm using it a lot. Maybe the other guys can use this as well. When you track in Parcels app, sometimes you get to see if the local post office already has the tracking number of it. And whenever I can, I send the local post office tracking site to them, so they got to see that, okay, like, I know, happened with a Portuguese order. Like the Portuguese post already had the tracking code in their system. So I shared it with them, and it was like, look, like the Portuguese post already have it. Don't worry about this. And yes, I'm also using like a guarantee that the product is going to arrive. So I always tell them that if something happens in the middle, I will reship the order for free, and they like kind of calm themselves. But yeah, my main problem right now is that one. So I'm going to see like where should I start for getting an agent? Like where should I look?
Let me reach out to a guy I know who currently is not taking people, but I might be able to help you out there.
All right, thanks.
I'll connect you to.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
Cool. All right, so I think we've gone through all the questions in Slack. Is that correct?
We have, yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to try to do this hand raising thing.
We are indeed.
So how does that work? How do I raise my hand?
Or how about we do it more simply, like any questions you want answered right now, type them up in the chat and we'll go through them as they come in.
That sounds like a good idea.
And
how long does PayPal take to verify your identity? That's a good question. I think PayPal right now, I'm not sure how long it normally takes. I can't say I've done that in a little while. Wait. Actually, no, I have done that recently, and it was very fast. The only issue right now is I know PayPal, like last time I checked, which was like a week ago, PayPal phone support is like non-existent right now. So I don't think they have many people working. So it's hard to say how long it's going to take right now with everything that's going on. But I would say if you don't get it, yeah, correct. It's really shitty support. I know. I would say if you don't get it within like 48, 72 hours, then I would just start fucking hammering their support, email. I guess that's really the only option that you have. Email and chat support. Their chat support's actually been decent for me. I submitted 418. Oh, that sucks. I know you can't give a hard number on this because a lot of variables, but what do you typically look for in regards to website conversion rates and CTR? For website conversion rate, like, yeah, I mean, you're right. It varies a lot because there's a lot of variables that go into it. Generally, I would say conversion rate somewhere between like 2 and 5% on your website. If your conversion rate is between 2 and 5%, that means 2 to 5 of every 100 people that come to your website are buying something. That's pretty still. I would say that's kind of the range I look for there. Anything over 5% is absolutely fantastic. That means your product market fit is just like next level. Click-through rate. Click-through rate's a little bit different because click-through rate is very much a function of your CPM and the quality of traffic that Facebook is sending you. So like yesterday on one of my stores, for example, the CPM went up from like 13 to like 28, like overnight. But then my click-through rate also skyrocketed as well. My click-through rate, I forget what it was before, but it went up to like 7 or 8%. So I would say like for CTR, what you really want to look at, what's probably more accurate is cost per click, because that takes into account your CPM and your CTR. For CTR, I mean, I would say you want it to be at least 1%. I mean, you can have shit convert when you have a CTR of 1%. The higher, the better. I mean, it's kind of how it goes for these numbers. 2%, 3%, 4%, anything over 5%, fantastic. But I would say if your CPC is more important, and you want your CPC like to be below 50 cents, generally speaking.
Right now, normally for US, I'd say up to $1 fine. Right now, 50 cents.
Yeah, if you're doing US only, up to $1, mark. $1 is a lot though. I mean, that's a lot. Scotty, you got anything else to add on that one?
Just that note about CPCs, if you're doing US only or a lot of traffic to the US, at the moment, I agree with the 50 cents or mark. Like that's roughly right around where you want to be.
Obviously, on that number, the lower the better.
Yeah, but in general, like anything over $1 is kind of a red flag. Like if it's like $1.50 or higher, that's kind of when I say like, okay, let's turn this ad set off. Something's clearly not working. Even then you can break even and be profitable. Like sometimes you get stores where just the ad isn't really working. Like if you're getting clicks for like $1.50 or $2, but they're like break even or profitable because the site's just converting at a really high rate. If you can work on getting a better ad, I think that's got a lot of potential. That's a really good sign that people want your product, but you've just got a shitty ad.
Does that make sense, Trevin?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I was just looking for some general guidelines, so that's good to know, because I know there's kind of like a lot of variables like you touched on, like if your CPMs are really low but your click-through rate's low too, that kind of like makes up for it and all of that. So thank you for that.
For sure. All right. Shin says, how often do you need to roll out new creative / interest when you have a few ad sets that's already working? I would say like every 2 to 3 days, I would be rolling out something new. Maybe not 5 new interests and 5 new creatives, but I would say like every 2 to 3 days, you should be doing something, testing something new. Any insights there, Scott? You want to
yeah, I mean,
dispute me or agree with me?
If you're very new, then yeah, every couple of days. Once you're established and you've got ads that are working like long term, you can do like once a week roll out. You can have like a schedule where you do new copy on a Wednesday and you do new content, like new creative, like new videos, new images on a Sunday. Like you do like each once a week. Interests are kind of like, after a while, like I know which lookalikes and which interests perform on an ad account. I don't need to roll out new ones every 2 or 3 days. I might do that like twice a month. And just mostly run these audiences that I know work and keep testing new creatives in that once or twice a week. Just kind of depends on where you're at too. If nothing's working, you test every 2 days, every 3 days. If some stuff's working, like if you have audiences that are working, you might just test more creatives in those audiences. If you have an ad that's working, you can use that ad to test a bunch of interests. It just kind of depends where you're at in terms of what stage and also what is working and what isn't. Does that clear it up for you, Shin?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
Sweet. Rody said, I have the same issues as Nico with alley shipping and customers' complaints. Scotty, can you see if you can do something about me as well with the agent?
Yeah, I've reached out. I just sent a message before trying to get some clarification of what he can and can't do right now. We'll see what he says.
I've also heard, I'm hesitant to mention this because I've never used it. And don't take this in any way as a recommendation, but I've heard of CJ dropshipping. I've heard of people using that ticket agents, so that might be somewhere to look. But yeah, I just let Scotty hook it up most of the time. All right.
So yeah, I'll be updating everyone on that, what can and can't be done right now with sort of our go-to agent.
Dalton says, what is a good way to get great custom content if you don't know anyone that fits the niche you're trying to sell to personally? I'm selling kawaii style products, but don't know anyone personally who is in that niche. I don't even know kawaii. I'm not sure what that, I mean, that's like in the Hawaiian island. I'm not sure if that's a niche. I think I kind of know what you mean though. I
think it's a very simple answer, honestly. The person doesn't have to be super into that niche because most of the time the products you're selling, they're not going to be like, it's almost more about the background setting. And sort of like, if it's like the AirPod cases or something, it's going to be like the nails have to be like female nails, a female hand. Don't use a fucking powerlifter's hand to sell kawaii style AirPod cases. But it doesn't have to be like somebody who's like madly in love with this niche. It just has to sort of like roughly fit. Age, probably someone Asian, definitely. So if you can go on Fiverr and find an Asian person, like a young Asian chick.
You mean Hawaiian?
No, I think it's Asian. I think I think it's Asian.
Kawaii is that? I don't even know if that's how you spell it. It might be spelled differently. I think that's a Hawaiian island though. I've been there.
No, it's like the Asian style stuff, like Scotty was saying.
Yeah.
Well, fuck me sideways. All right. Scotty, you're right.
It does sound like it's Hawaiian, but I know from the boss build that it's about, it's sort of an Asian subculture thing.
Yeah.
If you can find anyone young, like any young Asian chick to model it, probably find them on Fiverr or Instagram. That's gonna be perfect. Yeah. And also, like young Asian chicks are stuck inside at home right now. They're probably gonna be pretty open to doing some modeling for something like this.
What about like
Yeah.
Instagram? Would that work?
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna say go on Instagram and try to search like maybe for related hashtags in your niche, or I mean, just kind of get creative with it. Like,
Hashtag kawaii.
yeah, like,
Kawaii.
there's not like one specific method, but I mean, I think one thing you could do is go on Instagram and find, find people who kind of fit that niche and would like your product. I think that's kind of like the more important thing. And I mean, kind of two routes you can go with it. You can either just basically message them and offer to pay them in order to get content, or you could just try to do a little bit more subtly and just be like, hey, maybe if you find some people who have like 1,000 followers or like 2,000 followers who are like not really influencers, they're not getting hit up like very often, if at all, of brands offering them free product. So that, they'll be much more likely to go along with it. And then just see if you can send them some product, and if they like it, get some pictures of it, whatever.
okay, cool. Thanks.
Fun story here. I've got a friend who is in the sort of baby mom niche, and he was hitting on some chick and got her Instagram, sneaked her Instagram, found out that she's a mom, and didn't talk to her for like a month or two. And then out of the blue, he's trying to sell these mom products. He's trying to get custom content. So he hits up this chick whose number he got. He's like, yo, I've got this really cool product. Would you and your baby like to model for it or something? And I don't think that went all too well. But don't an option.
Don't randomly hit people up that you've. I think it was his dental hygienist. Like, she like cleaned his teeth, and then like he was like flirt with her, got her number, checked her Instagram, realized she had a kid, and then like a month later hit her up like, hey, does your kid want to model for my product? Like, fuck no, that's so random. But I think that, I mean, that could definitely work if you do it in a bit smarter of a way. I think you just gotta get crafty though, man. Like, ultimately, you gotta get crafty with it, and this goes for a lot of stuff in e-com. This is the type of thing that I think really kind of sets apart like people who are very serious about it from people who are kind of just like playing it. Like it's like a video game or something. If you're really serious about it, like you're gonna find a way to get what you need, and especially with content. It's not just going to be super cut and dry all the time. You're not going to have someone that's going to be the perfect person, to model for you or to do content, whatever. I think you kind of got to just go out and you got to find them.
Sergio's got some recommendations for you too, Dalton.
If you can get your product to someone fast, you can use Fiverr and Instagram. Yep. Dalton said he's trying to use CJ right now. Dalton, let us know how that goes, man. I'm very curious to hear about that.
Okay.
Because I've heard, I don't think I've heard necessarily good things, but I don't think I've heard bad things. So
yeah, I saw it recommended one time on a YouTube video, and I just like checked it out, and so far it's been okay. I'm gonna launch my store like maybe in a day or two. So I don't honestly know that much about it, but it seems like an interesting alternative. Because they list ePacket as an option, but they also use their own kind of version of ePacket. It's called CJ Packet. And for them, it looks like it's like 5 days quicker. But again, that's how they show it. I'm going to actually buy one of my products right off the bat to see how it is, but I don't know it. I don't know yet.
Let us know how that goes. I'd be really interested.
Okay.
Grant says, I'm in the fitness niche right now. Any recommendations for different interests to try? Kind of a vague question, a little bit hard to answer. But, I mean.
Stuff I've seen work is celebrities in the fitness niche. Like the chick from The Biggest Loser. Whoever the chick is from The Biggest Loser. Kind of random stuff like that has worked pretty well. It's not like interest fitness or interest weight loss, but like people who watch that show are going to be interested in fitness and weight loss. Also, I think people that watch The Biggest Loser are probably pretty good people to have as your customers. They probably buy from dropshipping stores. So yeah, maybe have a look for like fitness celebrities. That's something I can recommend. Fitness magazines, probably a good move too.
Yeah, Nathan,
influencers.
I was going to say magazines. Magazines are kind of like pretty underrated, I would say, for interest, especially if they're paid magazines. Because because obviously, you know, the best interests, generally speaking, are going to be the ones that indicate that someone is not only interested in that, but is spending money on it. And if you can find interest that people are, you know, basically it implies that people are spending money on it, like i.e. a paid magazine subscription, then those are going to be really good, because obviously they have the buyer intent. It's the people that are actually spending money, you know, in that niche, and those are people you want to be targeting.
Awesome, thank you.
I was trying to unmute myself. Yeah, so I was doing jewelry, but now I'm doing in the fitness niche. I'm actually doing that product that Jason posted in the Slack chat, those like resistant bands. So that's what I'm doing. And I just launched my ads at midnight today, and already had like 5 interests. I forget all of them. They're like physical exercise or physical fitness, health, just stuff like that. And so I was wanting to look for new interests to like test more, because I'm not sure how they're gonna work out, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
go for celebrities, magazines, and then use the suggestion feature.
Yeah, and then you can also do like brands as well, like Gymshark or Alpha Elite, maybe. I don't know if that's
Gymshark, I think, is one of the interests I did too. So
yeah, and just like other brands, other fitness brands. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different options, honestly, and there's not like one best way to find interest. I mean, like, it's kind of an intuitive thing. Like when I'm choosing interest, it's not like I don't have like a specific process for it necessarily. It's just kind of like, what do I intuitively think is going to work? And that's kind of what I go with.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering, like, just different interests for like good ideas that could be good ideas. Not necessarily, I wasn't asking necessarily like what's the best interest for the fitness niche. I was just wanting like new ideas, I guess.
I can chime in here really quick since I'm selling that product with pretty good success. I've been using magazines like they suggested, as well as I believe the fitness person that they were taught, that Scotty mentioned, is Jillian Michaels. Like the Biggest Loser type people, I've had some success doing things like Beachbody and P90X, like at-home workout companies. Obviously, this is an at-home workout thing, so targeting companies like that, I've seen higher success with like the P90X and stuff like that. I've had higher CPMs because they're smaller interests, where the magazines, my CPMs have been lower, but I mean, across the board, they've all worked pretty well. So I would definitely like look into stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Cool. You got anything else right now, Grant?
No, I don't. I still need to add you to my ad account, but I'll text you about it.
Cool. Where are we? Isaac ran his first ad, made enough sales to break even, made tweaks to ad that people recommended. Any other things you should be paying attention to and maybe changing?
Wait, we skipped a question, Scott, man.
I don't think we did.
I'm gonna, I don't know how to pronounce this. Mete?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can say Mete.
Mete, oh, cool. What do you want to say about maternity gear niche? Is that a good one to start? I would say, yeah, that's a pretty hot niche overall, I would say. But I wouldn't go for something that was super typical in that niche. Like, I don't know. If you do something super typical, like the first thing that comes to mind is like those like body pillows that for like pregnant women that they sleep on. If you're gonna sell like a product that's like very common in that niche like that, then you need to have a unique and compelling angle that's different from what everyone else is doing. Either that, or you could sell a product that's like not super common like that. But overall, I would say yes, that is a good one to start.
Thanks.
Got it. All right. Back to what you were saying, Scott, man.
Yeah, I was on Isaac. Isaac's ran his first ad. He's basically asking what to do next. So this kind of depends on your results. So general things that you always want to do when you're getting started is test new interests. test new ad copies, and test new creatives, so new content in your ads. Also, maybe like ask for feedback on your site too, because you could have good ads and a crappy site and be breaking even, or you could have a great site and crappy ads. It kind of depends what your numbers are looking like. I think at this stage you're at a good stage. You're breaking even. Obviously, you're getting some stuff right. I would post in Slack or hit up me or hit up Nate. See what we have to say about your store, about your ads. Show us your numbers, show us your ads, and show us your site link. And we'll probably be able to help you make some tweaks there to improve it further. Always test new creatives, always test new copy, always test new interests as well in the early stages.
And the way that I like to think about things in this kind of a situation is, what are the main things that you can improve to get better results? Because if you're breaking even right now, like that's a really solid place to be. But obviously, in order to actually scale that, you need to be profitable. You need to be consistently profitable. So a way to think about that, like you could think about, okay, so something that could improve my results would be getting more people to my website through my ads while spending the same amount. So basically increasing your click-through rate or decreasing your CPM. Now, when you're thinking about this, you have to take into account what you do and do not have control over. Your CPM, you don't really have control over that. You kind of can indirectly with, changing your ad creatives, but you can't really control how much Facebook is charging you to show your ads to people. What you can control is how good your ads are, and you can test new creatives. You can test new copies, and you can try to increase your click-through rate so that you're getting more people to your website, for the same amount of ad spend. That's one big thing that you can do. Another big thing you can do is increase your conversion rate, because if you're getting more people buying on your website with the same amount of people, then you're going to be making more money. You're going to be above break even. So think about what you can do to increase your conversion rate. There's a lot of things you can do in that respect with, including proof, just completely changing your product page, editing your copy, getting better content, better pictures. There's a lot of different things you can do there. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is increasing your average order value, because if you are getting, more money for each order, all else even, you're going to be making more money. So think about how you can increase your average order value. Think about how you can get people to buy more of what they're already buying. Think of things that you could potentially cross-sell or bundles that you can include. That's why things like, the discounted pricing app, it's extremely simple and it's not going to have insane results, but it very well, adding discounted pricing and incentivizing people to buy more than one, quantity, that could be enough to get you past that break-even point and to, the land of profitability. So that's kind of how I like to think about it.
But yeah, definitely hit us up for some feedback, and we can look at what you're exactly doing and probably tell you what the next move is.
Isaac, does that all make sense, man?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Nathan asks, when giving away an ebook, do you send it individually to each customer via email, or is there an easier way to do it?
Yeah, so I mentioned that earlier. I think ideally you want to set it up with an autoresponder, and do it in a bit more of a professional way. The way that I've been doing it though is I mentioned this earlier on the call, is I went into my Shopify settings for the order confirmation email and just kind of figured out how to mess with the code on that, and basically just change the text and the button link from view your order to download your ebook, and then the link was, the ebook. So
okay.
That's kind of how I've been doing it. That's a very, simple workaround. But long term, especially operating at scale, I think it's probably better to set that up in a separate email with an autoresponder.
Oh, awesome. But for right now, you said you went to Shopify settings, edited the code a little bit to download your free ebook.
Yeah, and make sure that before you start messing with the code, make sure that you copy and paste that somewhere else, so that if you fuck it up, that you can just easily go back and fix it.
Yeah.
But it's real simple. I mean, you just have to kind of find a place in the code where it says download, or where it says view your order or whatever, and then you just go and change the text, and then you change the a href equals link and just change that. It's pretty basic coding.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You got it. duplicate a copy of the theme, then it's saved with the code before you change it. Yeah, you can do that as well. Actually, I don't know if that is going to matter with the order confirmation emails, because I don't know if that's part of the theme. It could be though. Either way, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing to have.
Awesome.
All right, Sergio says, trying to search for a good font for the store and playing with the colors a bit, but think it's ready enough to start getting traffic to it. I'm trying to move faster on testing with things out there in the world instead of keep working on it without launching. Let's take a look. My first thought is I would not have the background as pink. That's very, yeah, I don't like how that looks. It just kind of like hurts my eyes a little bit. I'll just make the background white. And then maybe change the font a little bit. It's not a huge deal. The serif fonts don't tend to look as clean as the sans serif fonts. So you can mess with that, but yeah, your product page is at first glance looking pretty solid.
I'd make the sub headlines a little bigger. They're like pretty small. That's like a super easy way to make your product page look super professional, is just make sure the sub headlines look nice and make sure the content looks nice.
Cool. No problem, dude. All right, well, y'all got any questions? Drop them in here. Don't be shy. We'll go dropping questions in the chat. So,
Sergio, I'd also add some stuff to your homepage because right now it's pretty empty. So that when people like click on the homepage, there's actually something there, a couple products or something, some copy.
Yeah, I mean, you can even like what I do, just if like bare minimum homepage is I just do like, what you have already with the, the header picture, and then I'll have like a shop now button that sends traffic straight to the product page. And then I'll just do like the featured product right under it. And then that way the homepage is basically, it looks half decent at least. How should I have people schedule their live call with my personal trainer?
I was telling you that I was going to scale with every order comes with a 20-minute live call with our in-house personal trainer.
Yeah, I would say, I'd say for that, you probably want to have set up some sort of an autoresponder, sign up for some, email service provider like Klaviyo, or, I mean, you don't even have to do something as like serious as Klaviyo. You could do something simpler. You could even use like Aweber. And then I would just have an email go out that has like a link to schedule, like a Calendly link where they can get on the schedule and schedule a call.
Oh. Is there anything that goes against putting that in order confirmation?
No, not necessarily, but I don't know how to code elements that aren't there. So like adding a button, I don't know how to do that. If you could figure out how to do that, I think that would be fine.
Yeah, like a button that would take you pretty much straight to like Calendly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Either way, you're going to set up Calendly with a link, like a link to Calendly. That's super easy. Just a question of how you send the link out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll figure that out. I'll try and figure out a way to get it coded into the confirmation page.
Yeah, and if most email service providers should be able to integrate, like most of the big ones should be able to integrate with Shopify directly so that it triggers it if you don't use the order confirmation page. But if not, then you can use Zapier. Zapier is awesome. Like one of the coolest pieces of software that I use. I think it's so cool. Just lets you, take one thing and then trigger something else in a different software. And we have quite a few of those zaps set up, don't we, Scotty?
Side effects may include headaches.
Yeah, Zapier.
Your migraines.
It can be a huge bitch to get it set up, but once it's working, it's just like the best fucking feeling ever because then you just don't have to worry about it.
Awesome. Yeah, because I just needed to schedule those, and I was like, I didn't know if I needed that because the way I was sending out the ebook was literally like emailing each like order personally from the
Yeah,
store,
no,
and just giving it to them. I was like, damn, this is taking forever.
Damn. So your store's doing pretty good, or how's it going?
No, it stopped. It was doing the first couple of days. It was doing okay, and then it just like stopped. And I was running CBOs for it. So I stopped the ads right now. I'm writing new creative for it. Gonna launch new ads within probably either today or tomorrow, and hope that does well. But no, I mean the first couple of days I was getting at least like 1 to 2 orders a day, and then it just stopped. And I was spending right at about $60 a day. And for 2 days I spent the $60, didn't get anything. And it was actually funny because, you know, the massage gun, I got one sale on it, but I wasn't even running ads to it. So that was nice. That's the one I actually ended up fulfilling through eBay. Like, who's it? Is it Matt Kelly or is it Jason that always says eBay? I don't remember, but
well, both of them.
Oh yeah, so
Jason probably suggested it, and Matt Kelly's been using it.
Mm-hmm. And it was like 4-day shipping on that, so that was nice.
Dope.
And
make sure you're making like decently sized changes to this product. Like, don't get stuck with a product that's not working, because there's so much that's working right now. Like, if it's not working, make big changes or move product.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I was doing okay for the first couple of days, and it just kind of took a nosedive. But I'll send it to you whenever I get done with the new ad copy. And I know I sent you the product page as well, which I changed stuff on that as well.
Cool.
I'm good though. I think that's all I have.
Word. All right, y'all. Any other questions? If y'all want, you don't even have to. You don't
Ja, ich denke, ich muss auf aufhängen und.
No one's got any questions. No one's confused about anything. I find that hard to believe.
Gotti, actually, I ended up getting the book you were talking about last live call.
That's dope. Got a match in one.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I just ordered that off of Amazon the other day.
I love it. The direct response reading, major key.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any other books I could recommend.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Is there any like other books that can help with like I guess when it just comes to creativity about like angle, ad copy, and all that?
I've been rereading the Boron Letters by Gary Halbert. If you just look up Boron Letters online, they're all free online.
What's it called?
How directly relevant that'll be to ad creatives and ad copy, but it's just it's good reading. It's good to just kind of hammer that stuff into your brain.
Wait, say the book name again.
It's called The Boron Letters by Gary Halbert. It's not a book. It's a series of letters. Basically, Gary Halbert, legendary copywriter. He's dead now, but at some point in his life, he went to jail for basically a crime that he didn't really commit. And when he was in jail, he wrote a series of letters to his son, basically like teaching him everything that he thought he needed to know about life and about direct response marketing and making money and fitness. And it's really cool. It's a good read. And Gary Halbert is a fantastic writer, so it's very easy and interesting read.
I got a collection of recommendations. The classic Cashvertising, great book. Probably my favorite pure copy book. It's big on like the Ultimate Sales Letter. Dan Kennedy is all about the structure of a sales letter, or it's really good at teaching that, like how to actually write a sales letter. Cashvertising is more so the psychology of advertising. So like tapping into people's emotions, all that good stuff. I think Cashvertising is probably my favorite book for that. Also just a great one to open up and read for 10 minutes if you're stuck for ideas and trying to come up with a new ad or something. I find that's great for sort of inspiration.
Who's the author?
Oldest, Drew Eric Whitman. But if you enter like cash advertising, it'll come up. This is a good one too. Scientific Advertising by Uncle Claude Hopkins.
Uncle
It's super
Claude.
old. It's super old. It's, I think, from the 1920s. He's like the original guy that discovered that advertising could be not just like luck, not just lottery, but like scientific. It's like you test it and you see the results, and then you try and figure out these principles of advertising. He's kind of the guy that pioneered that approach. He's also got one that's just, this is less so about
that one's super interesting.
Yeah, it's just kind of the story, him talking about his life in advertising. Therefore, the book is called My Life in Advertising. It's less teaching. It's just a good read if you're trying to relax, if you're trying to kill some time during quarantine and want to keep your mind on advertising, then that's a good one.
It's super interesting because you just get to see like the development in real time. I mean, not in real time, but like you got to see this dude realize, like the first dude in the world to realize that marketing, you can use people's emotions and you can, tie their identity to your marketing and make it much, much more powerful. Like he was like the first person to like figure that out. So very, very interesting. I think one of my favorites was, one of my favorite stories in that book was how he was selling his vacuum cleaners, and he did something, and it was just very interesting.
Vacuum cleaners, dang.
Also, randomly, get yourself some note cards. If you're reading books or doing whatever, I like to write ideas down on like little flashcards. Instead of pulling out my phone to write down an idea or pulling out my laptop, just like if you're reading a book, write ideas down on this. And like write it with a pen. It's just fun. I find it sort of sparks creativity. And if you do it for a while, you'll end up with a desk filled with like a bunch of flashcards, which is good to look through sometimes to see sort of ideas and shit.
I use a notepad.
Yeah, I used to, but the flashcards are more fun somehow.
I don't know how you think flashcards are fun, bro. I'm like scarred for life from having to use flashcards as a kid. I fucking hate those things. Okay. Shin said, I have an ad set with a $10 budget that's getting 17 purchases over 5 days. That sounds pretty damn good. But when I increase it to 15, it only got 3 over 5 days. What's happening? Facebook and running ads is happening. That's just, that shit happens. That's a very stark contrast though, that like just raising the budget by $5 resulted in that big of a difference. It could be something completely unrelated to you changing the budget, but it also could be related to you changing the budget. I would say probably scale that back down to $10, see how it does, and then instead of increasing the budget, maybe try duplicating it at a higher budget.
Matt Kelly recommends Ogilvy on Advertising, also a great book, which has a little part, a few paragraphs in it on marketing during a recession, which we may find to be very pertinent to the times here very soon, or right now actually. Basically the point is, like, he's talking about brand advertising for bigger companies, and what Mr. Ogilvy says is the brands, the companies that advertise during a recession and don't cut back on advertising spend, those are the companies that end up seeing great results over the years to come, which, I mean, so far with my first few weeks in recession time advertising, I'm taking that to heart, trying to spend as much as I can and set us up for
recession time advertising.
What's that?
I don't think it's recession yet by any means.
Well, it's a couple months out until they announce it, but we're definitely in a recession.
They announce it. Nah, man, the Fed just keeps dumping money into the fucking stock market.
The stock market is not how recessions are defined, though, unfortunately.
Is it not? I mean,
It is
I
not.
can't say that I'm an economics expert or even like a student of economics, but I think that's a pretty solid indicator. I could be wrong, but I think it is.
It should be. you'd think.
Okay. Well, good thing that this isn't an economics group chat, because I think we'd be the worst hosts ever. Actually, you're probably pretty good, Scotty. You're pretty smart with that stuff. Me, not so much.
Yeah, I'm waiting for someone to ask a question so we can stop looking like idiots.
What's the elasticity of demand of toilet paper?
The elasticity of demand on toilet.
The price elasticity?
Yeah.
I don't know. My economics teacher in college was a foreign, or he was Chinese basically, and he was like a grad student, and he barely spoke any English, and everyone failed the class, but he just curbed all our grades. I got an 100. All right. No more questions?
I think I asked mine. I'm good.
Word. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. Sold. I think. Okay.
Then anyone want to try and raise a hand or drop a question if you want to talk? Just say like "I," and we'll unmute your mic. And otherwise, I think this is coming to a close.
Breaking even every day. That's pretty solid. Is there any way to make it more profitable? Harris, were you here when I answered that question like 10 or 15 minutes ago or so? Not sure. Well, I'm not gonna lie, my answer I think was pretty fucking solid. It was what do you think, Scotty? I think it was a good answer.
Why don't you repeat it?
Basically, how to make it more profitable. Think about the levers that will make it more profitable. So I think like the 3 main ones that I kind of talked about was getting more people to your website from your ads for the same cost. So basically increasing the amount of people that are clicking on your ads, i.e. making better ad creatives. That's one way. Second way is to increase your conversion rate. So basically get more people buying from the people that are already visiting your website. A lot of stuff you can do with that. Things on the product page, your content, your copy, adding more reviews, changing up your product description entirely, changing up the angle. There's a lot of things you can do there. Increasing the conversion rate. That's another big lever. And then increasing your average order value. So getting more money per customer. Those are really, like, the way I see it, those are kind of the 3 main things that you can have an effect on. You might not be able to change your CPM. You don't have control over that, but you can make better ads. And just think about the things that you can control, and just continuously try to improve what you're doing. At this point, if you're breaking even, you don't need to do anything like incredibly dramatic. You don't want to, start selling a completely different product or completely change up all your ads, all your angles, all your product descriptions. You don't want to make huge changes, and especially not a bunch of huge changes. But just continuously try to improve what you're doing, basically. Like, that's the short answer, is just continuously improve everything from the first time someone sees your ad to the time that they purchase. Just continuously try to improve it.
Oh, and I guess one more thing for me. Nate, Scotty, would you mind if I sent you my ad that I'm running right now, and could you guys like critique it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just send like yeah. Are you talking about ad copy?
Yeah, ad copy, and I guess I can send you the video too. But yeah, the ad copy.
Yeah, just get them all together and shoot them over to us on Slack, and we'll check them out.
Okay.
And then Harris said, "Thanks. If I make a change to an ad set, is it best to dupe?" I think it depends on the change, but it does depend on the change, and it also depends on how well the ad set's performing in the first place. If the ad set's performing well, you pretty much want to stay away from making any major changes to that ad set, because that might fuck it up. You don't want to fuck it up. So like, for example, if you're going to test a new creative, then I would not put, like, if you're going to test a new creative and the ad set's doing well, then I would not just add the creative to the ad set. I would duplicate it, then add the creative and keep the original one that was already running in there.
Time
All
for
right.
questions, folks. Don't be shy. Just general, like if you don't know the question like right now, just don't forget, like we're always there on Slack, hit us up anytime, and we'll get you sorted.
Harry says, if I turn ads off and on, could that fuck up performance? Yeah, it could.
It could, but also like if you did that and then the next day it didn't perform well, I wouldn't necessarily say that that's what caused it. So like, yes, that could fuck up performance, but at the same time, performance can also just dip. So if you're making like 1, 2, maybe 3 sales a day, it's, I mean, I think we've made this experience now, Harris. There's massive fluctuations in the early stages. So I would be hesitant to like jump to the conclusion that you doing X, Y, or Z caused something else. It might just be a fluctuation as well.
All right. Cool. Well, I think we're going to get this one finished off. Folks, as always, as Scotty just said, hit us up in Slack if you got any questions you can't think of right now. You know, put them in Boss Builder, put them in, you know, direct message to me or Scotty, or you can put us both in a, you know, a little group chat. And yeah, we'll get you sorted.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
I go continue with my School of Biz program, so I'll have more questions next time. Yeah, for all you guys who just joined, you know, you're probably not going to have a lot of questions right this second. Usually the questions start coming up when you start running ads, and then you'll have some data to work with, and we'll be able to give you some more assistance once we kind of know what we're working with. Awesome. Well, thank you all for coming. And yeah, good luck this week. Make it happen. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Guys, take care.